Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of Gas South District's That's the Ticket, the ultimate podcast exploring all things Gas South District and a source for insights to events on campus and discussions on the wider entertainment and tourism industry. Please welcome the host of our show, Stan Hall, CEO of Gas South District and Explore Gwinnett.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of That's the Ticket, where we bring you the stories behind the action happening right here at Gas South District and beyond. I'm your host, Stan Hall. Today, I'm joined by someone who plays a huge role in shaping the experience of every guest who visits our campus. From concerts and graduations to trade shows and sporting events, there's one common thread, and that's how our guests feel when they're here. Leading that effort is our Director of Guest Experience, Marcia Powell. Marcia has been a part of Gas South District family for many years, beginning back in 2000, returning in 2016, and continuing to grow her impact ever since. She's been a part of our story through so many milestones, and I'm excited to talk with her about what really goes into creating memorable moments for our guests. Marcia, thank you for being here today. And let's just start with your role. You oversee guest experience across the entire campus, which is no small task. And as Director of Guest Experience, you oversee how we welcome and serve every single guest who steps onto our campus. How do you describe the core purpose of your role?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me.
Yes, of
I
course.
love working for you. I love working here. It's a great place to be all of these years. I would say my core purpose role is chief people coordinator
I
or
think
chief
so.
chaos coordinator. You called me something before we started. I don't remember what it was, but
I'm sure it was appropriate.
yeah, it was very appropriate.
Okay.
I kind of bridge the gap between departments, the events, the guests, the behind the scenes folks, the tour folks. It's all moving parts. Every day is different. And I kind of act as the go between and making sure the information gets to our guest experience team. If the more information they have, the better they have, the more welcoming they can be. We put our best foot forward, kind of acting as that coordinator of everything.
Marcia, you know this full well, but our organization is a very wide organization that has so many components that make it up. But you and your division are truly, there's nothing more important than the work we do here than what you guys put forward. Gas South District is a large and complex campus with so many different venues. So how do you approach setting consistent guest service standards across all of those spaces that we have responsibility for?
Well, it's a challenge. We've always said that from the marketing side. I do have a marketing background, and each building is different. Each building tells its own story, and we've kind of battled that for years, trying to figure out how to be all under one umbrella, but then have each building have its own vibe. If you're going to a concert, it's hyped up, you're excited, it's your favorite artist. If you're coming to a trade show, you're probably excited. Maybe you're having a meeting that you don't want to come to over in the convention center. It's a different vibe, different buildings. And so one thing that has to be consistent is putting our best foot forward. Like I said, creating that, we're being kind, we're being helpful, no matter where you are on the campus. If you need help finding something, or if you have a question, or you need to get somewhere, having that experience where we're helping you make the best of whatever moment you're having on our campus.
Yeah, and I think there's so much to be said about your team regarding first impressions, because first impressions usually get more attention than they deserve. But sometimes that first impression, if it's a bad impression, is one that stays with them for a long, long time.
Absolutely.
So, Marcia, what does a great guest experience look like from your perspective? And not just really for one event, but throughout the entire campus. How would you sort of describe that?
Well, it starts at the very beginning. So when you're purchasing tickets, it's the website. If you're looking for information, it's arriving, parking, it's getting in the doors, it's getting to your event. So it's really a journey. And we, as the guest experience team, aim to make that easier. Anything we can do, regardless of what you're coming for, make it an experience that people remember on a positive note. You really do. examples in my life. When my kids were little, we went to a big box store that will remain unnamed in case our business development person can ever enter into a partnership with them. And my oldest son had a Cadbury egg, and he carried it around the store like a toy. He was 3. It was smashed by the time we got up to pay.
Yeah.
And the clerk said, you can get another one, but she said it kind of hostily, not
Yeah.
nice. And I said, oh no, I'll just pay for this one. And she said, I wasn't talking about it, because of the egg and you getting one. I don't want to touch the melted chocolate,
Oh, wow.
I don't shop at that store anymore.
That was definitely a lasting impression.
Flash forward to same child who would be mortified if he knew I was telling stories. He was not precocious in any way, shape, or form. But at Disney World, I will say that name because this is a positive experience. He broke an ornament in the shop window. It was like people came from the ceiling, swept it up. I said, I'll pay for it. They're like, no, that's not part of your experience. You're here to have fun. Do not worry about it. It was gone, vanished. Totally different mindset of experience. But I remember both of those because they incited strong emotions. And so anything we do here, I want it to be a positive emotion. I want, it may just be walking somebody somewhere instead of pointing them, or answering a question, saying, how was your day? That sets a positive tone and invites people back, to want to be here.
And those 2 experiences that you shared with us, you remember them both clearly, and you also remember the ramifications of how those worked out.
Yeah. Core memories.
Yeah, I think so.
If I can help it, I don't go to the store, but I would, I have been back to Disney World several times.
Yeah. So, Marcia, when we talk about guest experience, maybe I should say when you talk about guest experience, there are a lot of moving parts. And you talked a little bit about it, from staffing, signage, training, communications, whatever it might be. What aspects of all of that do you find yourself most focused on from day to day?
A lot of the day-to-day is looking ahead. Sometimes it's harder getting information from certain events, meeting planners. They don't know yet, so you've got to wait on it. So it's kind of navigating the schedule side of things. But right now, my focus is on training. We're super excited. We're finishing up 2025. We are coming off a crazy few months.
Yeah, it has been.
And so looking to 2026, we're revamping some of our training. We have 2 new members in our full-time department. That is just new energy. We're excited to revamp some of our, training materials, customer service training, really get ahead of it and roll 2026 out with a new vibe.
Yeah. We're talking about your team, and you lead teams, plural, who are often the very first and very last impression for our visitors. And you talked a little bit about your core memory of that. But how do you coach and inspire your staff to understand the importance of that role? Again, maybe anecdotally using the core memory you shared with us today, but how do you get them to understand how important this is?
My leadership style is leading by example. I do not ask anybody on the guest experience team to do anything I haven't done. That includes line management, ticket taking,
I've
ushering.
Seen it all. I've seen it.
I run around sometimes. I try to instill in them that guests remember who helped them. And a lot of times I will tell them, if you just say, oh, I love your outfit, or I love your necklace, or something that sparks a smile. A lot of times it feels stressful when people are entering, especially at the arena. You're going through search action. You're getting in the door. Maybe you haven't been here. You don't know where your seat is. People get a little escalated. And so just trying to settle them, asking questions, if they are upset about something or something has affected them negatively, asking for more details, making them understand that you are going to follow up and you are going to figure out if it's an opportunity for improvement in the future, if it's something you can help them with, just making them feel heard. And I just try to, like I said, lead by example, get out there and show them. And I am very, very blessed with a team that does most of them. It happens naturally. They are nice people, and they are here because they want people to have a great time.
Well, I think you said it best that you wouldn't ask them to do anything that you don't do yourself. Another one of our staff members who recently shadowed you, when I first asked her, I said, "How did that go?" She said, "It was a lot of steps." It was a lot of steps.
On that particular day, I was at 17,000 steps.
Yeah,
She picked a good one.
I think she did pick a good one. So, Marcia, we host, as you well know, everything from concerts and conventions to graduations, sporting events. Even though the message is similar for everything we do, it's not a cookie cutter. So, how do you adapt the guest experience planning to fit such different audiences based on whatever the event might be?
It's we have great event coordinators, event managers that get the details. So we kind of have a feeling. A lot of times we'll reach out to other venues
Yeah.
who have had a particular artist to get a snapshot of what we're expecting. It's all over the board.
Oh, yeah.
The graduations, excitement, parents are proud, but tensions are high. You know,
Yeah.
there is family in from out of town,
Yeah.
and it is a lot of moving parts, and a lot of
A
times
lot of family drama. Yeah.
that's a more dramatic crowd than we have. We really are. Gwinnett's a melting pot, but Gas South District is a melting pot because the genres, have a little bit of something for everybody.
I
And
agree.
it's not even just the marketing side of me saying that. We really do have a vast array. And so you kind of get to know the crowds. K-pop fans come early, and
Yeah.
they are like the most joyful people you'll be around. A lot of times they are exchanging the bracelets, kind of Taylor Swift style.
Yeah.
They have dance things. They're awesome. You know what crowds are you figure out who's gonna come in later, who's gonna get there early. You know how to pace yourself at doors. But it really is just in the planning and the experience, the historical data that we have, that we pull that knowledge and kind of come up with the best plan to meet that audience.
Yeah. One of the things I think we do well is cater to, as you said, Gwinnett is such a diverse community, but I think we do a great job of catering to, as you said, something for everybody. And, it's not unusual for me to get a comment from somebody that said, "Hey, I went by your campus the other day and you were advertising a group I've never even heard of." And I said, "Well, I understand that, but there was about 10,000 people there who knew very well who that act was." So you do have to cater and sort of adjust based on the genre, based on the event, et cetera, et cetera. And you guys do such a good job for that. Is there a moment that you can share with us today when maybe one of your team members or a group really went above and beyond and made a lasting impression on a guest or a client during their time here on our campus?
I'm lucky enough to get to see it happen a lot.
Yeah, it's not rare, right?
And it's not always something complex. The most recent story that stood out was we had a graduation a few months ago, and a mom was having trouble with her younger child who was having issues with the sound.
Yeah.
That's we run into that a lot where somebody needs a little bit of help in that scenario. And one of our team members just took her over, got her a quiet spot, got the child situated, and she started crying, like right there crying, because she wasn't otherwise going to see her older child graduate.
Yeah.
And she didn't know that would be an option. She didn't know to ask. It's moments like that. I call it moments of delight.
Yeah.
That and it's something that was hard for us. It didn't cost us a thing. It didn't cost us any extra time. It was just somebody that saw a child crying, saw the mom kind of struggling in the situation. She went over and said, "Hey, how can I help you? What's going on?" And was able to fix it. And it mattered.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've been very lucky the past few years as far as the amount of events we've had on our campus, staying really, really busy all the time, which is what we want to do, obviously. But what are some challenges that you may face with your team, I guess, in maintaining consistency, especially during, as you just described here recently, some of our busiest times? So.
It was back to back to back things.
Mhm.
The constant changing of schedules. We have currently about 315 folks in our part-time guest experience staff. So navigating schedules is quite a trick. getting people, they all have other, for the most part, full-time jobs,
Yeah.
other lives, so to speak. And so when it's high volume and there's other venues, there's an outdoor venue that some of our staff also works
Yeah.
at.
Yeah.
They work at Corey Field. It's scheduling is
Mhm.
really the biggest challenge when
Mhm.
you're running on steam anyway, and getting enough people in, because it does take a certain number of people. Safety is always our top priority. So you have your X number of people you need, should an emergency occur. But having that above and beyond number of people to help get people to the seats where it's not a stressful situation, you really got to navigate getting people scheduled, getting them in, getting them here and trained and ready to work. And so that's when we go back to back to back like that with so many events, that's probably the biggest
Yeah.
challenge.
I would agree with that completely.
But you know my motto.
What's that?
It's fine.
It's fine.
Everything's fine, no matter what happens.
I
That's
still
what I
think we need
say.
to have T-shirts printed for
Yeah.
our entire staff that
Yeah.
just says those two words. It's
That's what it
fine.
is.
It's great. Marcia, so you're a two-timer
I'm a
with
two-timer.
our organization, you might say. You first joined back in 2000, took some time away. Then you came back in 2016. What is it that made this place just feel like home to you that would bring you back again?
Well, I've only worked here. That's it. I mean, other than if you don't count babysitting gigs and
Which is a real job.
real job, it
Yeah,
is. But in my high school years, I graduated from University of Georgia in 2000 and started working as the sales assistant here, believe it or not. Became the sales manager, became the sales and marketing manager as the arena came on, and they realized marketing was going to be a piece of it.
Yeah.
And kind of grew from there. But I think it's home because I was here for so much. The arena, I watched the arena grow. I have a hard hat, like original hard hat. From walking through, constructed.
Right?
Like I was here. I climbed a ladder. We'd have tours. I don't even know if that should have been allowed.
Probably
but
illegal now, but yeah.
We'd climb ladders and see, the roof putting on and all that.
Yeah.
Had a royal flush day. Before we opened, you got to test things like that. We all of the admin staff, I don't know, probably 30 of us came over, rode the escalator, sat in every seat. All of that happened. I held the ribbon at the front doors. And so this is like my baby. I always say it's my first child because it was like I'm invested. It is home. Every day is different here. There's an energy. It's a game day. Like I call event days game days because something you're never expecting to happen happens almost inevitably. But it's that energy and the go and the fix and the problem solving and the being part of something that just really felt like I was home when I came back.
Well, I hope you always feel that way, at least while I'm here. So keep that attitude going.
I will try.
I will try. Yeah. So you mentioned this, but you've held roles in both marketing. You talked about sales, guest experience. How have all of those experiences shaped the way you think about the guest journey today?
Well, I think for so long when I had marketing and guest experience in my title, and people would say that doesn't go together. And sometimes I would laugh and say it really doesn't, because marketing's about butts and seats, and then the guest experience side is like, oh no, how am I going to get that many people here to work the event? But marketing brings people in the door. It builds excitement. It's the sharing the brand. It's the selling tickets, promoting the shows. The guest experience keeps them coming back. It's, you're creating the moments and getting people to be like, oh, I like that place. That's a great place to go see a show. And so it kind of all goes hand in hand. Both sides are working to create memorable experiences.
You talked about this place feeling like home, being your home on our campus here, but even in a broader perspective, you grew up in Gwinnett County. I did as well, but there's not many of us who did. But with you growing up in Gwinnett, how has that personal connection to this community influenced the way that you lead and interact with our guests who come from everywhere?
Yeah, I've been here since 5th grade. We won't get into how long ago that was, but it is essentially all I remember for growing up. I graduated from Central Gwinnett High School. I, worked, like I said, first job here, only job here. I'm kind of ingrained. just it's belonging here. I feel like I know a lot. I don't currently live in Gwinnett, but my parents didn't move out of Gwinnett until about 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I know people. There's familiar faces. There's getting to see the different high schools graduate. Sometimes you see a teacher that you didn't know. It feels like I belong. I just am here and want to make people feel like they belong too when
And
they come
I
to
do
the
think
campus.
that's the impression they get from you. And I do think that goes a long way as far as what you and your team do. We just did a show recently about something that you and I are very excited about, and that's the renovation of the arena.
So excited.
You were here, as you said, when the arena opened for the first time. And I know we're all excited about what's going to happen with this renovation. But as we do grow and continue to evolve, what changes or improvements in that guest experience are you most excited about?
To name a specific thing, probably the lobby space. Right now we usually sell merchandise out of the lobby, and just the renderings I've seen with some digital aspects and opening things up, creating a good flow. I'm very excited about that. The premium, this morning I sat in one of the sample
Wow.
premium loge seats, and I may be napping there, full disclosure. It's a lot of exciting things. It's just going to be, I kind of feel the excitement like I did when the arena was opening, when it's new, and there's new stuff, new fun toys, new premium options. There's just a feeling to it that it'll
I
be.
think, and I think it's really going to change the guest experience dramatically, but all in a positive way,
Yes,
including
yes,
security, all the
yes.
things that people have to do when they go to an event in today's world. So I'm like you. I'm so excited about what's coming our way. Uh, what do you think guests are expecting more of today than they were when you first started this? I won't say how long ago that's
Well,
been, but
I always joke that when I left, social media really hadn't been quote unquote invented. That's my running joke. And then I came back in 2016,
and it was a
and
thing.
it was, now we're advertising on what? Twitter? What?
Yeah,
What does
yeah,
that
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I feel like technology makes everything so fast. Everything is at fingertips. It's go, go, go. Everything happens fast. And so it's creating that quick service, but leaving a personal, friendly touch to it. It people want what they want when they want it, but doing it with a smile and making a good experience for them.
Absolutely. Um, I remember my first experience with a huge venue like this was the old Fulton County Stadium where the Braves used to play. And I had never been to a building like that before. And I went with my Little League baseball team. And when we got off the concourse and started to walk into the stadium, it was the most enormous place I've ever seen in my life. And I've sat in our arena and watched kids as they come into the bowl, and you can see that look that I probably had on my face about, my God, this place is like something I couldn't even dream about. And that's so pleasurable to see that.
It's why we do it.
It's why we do it.
Neil, our director of operations, and I have had that conversation before, and he actually once showed me a picture, like it caught a moment of a child just like smiling. I think it was Disney on Ice.
Yeah.
And that's why we do it. Like, we put up with a lot. Sometimes it's an emotional roller coaster of, is this happening? Is this happening? Moving parts, changing chairs, it's fast paced. But then when you see that joy, no matter what, I may not have even heard of the artist walking in the door before.
Yeah.
But the level of excitement that people are to see their person, that's why I do it.
And the joy on their face.
The joy on their face, the excitement, the kids, even adults. That's why we do what we do.
That's exactly why we do it. If you did have to describe Gas South District's guest experience philosophy in one sentence, what do you think that would be?
Be the experience.
I love that. Be the experience.
We want to make every moment memorable, and feel like every guest is taken care of. And that's going back to what we said. Disney, if you create that experience, they're going to remember it, and it'll be a positive impact.
And they'll be back.
Yeah. Yep.
Marcia, we're running out of time, but I appreciate so much you joining me today and sharing your insight, your work and your team's work. makes such a difference for our visitors, and it's clear that the pride you take in this campus, that I love every time you talk about it, sets the tone for everyone who walks through our doors. I know that you've heard me say this before, so you know I'm not just saying it because you're here today, but you are an absolute integral part of every success we have here. And I appreciate the fact that you consider this your home. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate, as the leader of this organization, the job you do every day. So thank you for that.
Oh, shucks.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for all you do for us.
Well,
too.
thank you for coming today. But to our listeners, next time you're at a concert, a graduation, or even here at Gas South District, or an event here at Gas South District, I should say, remember that there's a whole team behind the scenes making sure your experience is a great one. So next time, we'll talk about another aspect of what we do here. But thank you today for listening to That's the Ticket. We look forward to sharing more as we move into this exciting chapter. Have a wonderful day, and we hope to see you soon. Be sure to check out gassoutdistrict.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and TikTok. You can find all episodes of Gas South District's That's the Ticket wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll return soon for another episode of That's the Ticket. Thanks again for being with us today. Goodbye.
Thanks for joining us today, and we hope you enjoyed the episode. For show notes and further information about Gas South District and upcoming events, please visit our website at gassoutdistrict.com. That's the Ticket.